Oh, hey, kia ora. Helen Brum's coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. I have no clue what happened there, but so there'll be a few seconds of blank. I'm sorry. I did add myself to the stream, and for some reason it went back to adding myself into the studio, and I was sort of like, I don't recall hitting the button, and I don't know what happened, but I hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day anyway. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1230. Today has been a wild ride. I'm like, and I still have to finish off my assessment. I've got a couple of questions that I don't really understand. So I've been taking extra time, and I've got a discussion question I don't fully understand either. Or I do understand it. It's just not clicking in my brain properly to be able to type out the answers that I need to type out. And it's the same with the assessment. There's a couple of questions in there where I'm reading the assessment and I understand, I comprehend what it says. I'm just not understanding it to get the right answer. So I have, what time is it now? 6. And I've got till midnight, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So I've got till 9:59 p.m. Mountain Time to get that done. So I'm trying to get it worked on. So that's why I'm on a little early. So I apologize for that. We just got back from a walk with Zeffie. And like at 5 o'clock, she was like on it. She was like, come on, let's go. And she was running up and down the RV and stopping at me and whining and putting her feet up on the seat next to me and clawing at my leg, like to say, let's get going. Come on. And it took her about 10 minutes after we started walking before she did anything. It's like, okay, obviously you really need to go. She didn't. But today has been a wild day. It has been so busy today. I've been like, and I think it was like around, I don't even know what time it was. I think it was like around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I finally sent a message to the boss saying, I need to take a break. Like I had been sitting here since 1 o'clock. So I've been sitting there for like 3 to 4 hours, 3 hours. And I hadn't had a break at all because the calls were they're coming in thick and fast today. I don't know what was going on today, but I guess it's because people are trying to get their Christmas lists out and all of that sort of stuff. And there were all sorts of chats coming in today. Some we hadn't dealt with for ages. Others are just, yep, we understand that. We know that. The ones that have been coming in regularly. And there was a whole bunch of different stuff coming in. And I was just basically jumping from one call to the next and trying to keep everything spinning well. And we got through it. I got to the end of the day and everything was smooth and calm and it had gone quiet. And I'm like, yes. So I got out of there real quick. And I had a dog turning around like, come on, Ma, we need to go. So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy day. I haven't even had lunch today. It's been so busy. I was doing work for a client this morning, and then on my hour before I come onto the desk is my lunch break, and I was busy trying to work on my assessments and stuff. I did some study this morning as well before I had to start doing work for my client. So yeah, it's been a very busy day. But it's all good. It's all good. So last night we watched Die Hard. Love that movie. Alan Rickman, I will watch him in just about anything. He is such an amazing actor, whether he's playing a good guy or a bad guy. He's just amazing to watch. And my cousin and I have the same opinion on watching him anyway. But it's been a year since I've seen it, and I still enjoy it. I've been watching it every year for a few years, and I still enjoy the movie. And we may slip Die Hard 2 into there a little later on the track. But tonight, if I get the chance, it'll be The Polar Express. And I love this movie. It is a great, even though it's animated, it is a great movie. It is just a really good, feel-good Christmas movie. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Do you not believe in Santa Claus? What if Santa Claus was actually real? And it just sparks for me, it sparks the imagination. Every time I watch it, it's sort of like, what if? What if? So I start with the what if questions whenever I watch The Polar Express. So I enjoy that. Have you seen The Polar Express? What do you think of the movie? Are you one that starts the what if game when you start watching that as well? What if? What if? What do you imagine the North Pole to be like? So, what do you imagine the North Pole to be like? Is it like what you see in the Polar Express, or do you have a completely different image of what the North Pole would look like? Is there a Christmas movie that includes the North Pole that you turn around and go, that's what I think the North Pole looks like, not like what it does in that movie? So, do you have a movie that you like the look of the North Pole, and that's what you've always imagined it to look like? So it's always interesting to see what other people think about that movie, and it's just such a great movie, and it was not long after the Polar Express came out, might have been a year or two after it came out, that we were at Benihana's in Santa Monica. And I can't remember why we went there for dinner. Don't remember if it was a celebration or we just went there for dinner anyway. But there was myself, Brad, his mother, and who else was with us? Oh, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So there was the 5 of us. And I'm sitting there next to my mother-in-law in the lobby, and in front of me there's a chair sitting facing sideways, and Rita Wilson was sitting in it, and Tom Hanks was standing next to her. And my mother-in-law kind of like tugged my sleeve, and she goes, "Who's that lady? She looks awfully familiar." So I had to tell her who it was. She's like, "Oh, okay." And my sister-in-law's like doing the count, like, we could end up sitting at the same table as Tom Hanks, because they like to fill up the tables. Yeah, no. I ended up sitting on, well, he ended up on one side of the room, we ended up on the other side of the room, but where I was sitting, I could see everything going on. And there were these 2 little girls at the table behind us, or next to us, and they actually got up at one point and went over to Tom Hanks, and they were actually there to celebrate their son's birthday. And of course, they all arrived after we had. And these 2 little girls go up to, they would have been maybe 6 and 8, somewhere around there, go up to Tom Hanks, because, of course, he's the voice of Woody from Toy Story, as well as being the conductor's voice in Polar Express. But the mother had told them that he was the voice of the conductor at Polar Express, and because I'd heard that. And so they go over to him, and they go over and say hi to him, and he stops what he's doing and gets down and talks to them. And Rita comes around and crouches down next to Tom, and they sit there and talk to these 2 little girls. And then the girls come running back over and say, he said he'll take pictures with us. And so the mother gave him the camera, and the little digital camera they had at the time, and the kids ran back, and Rita took the camera and took pictures of the girls with Tom Hanks. And at one point he grabs the camera from Rita, looks at it, looks through the pictures, and he's like, "No, take some more." So these 2 little girls just had, they had probably about 10, 15, and then they sat there and talked with the little girls for a little longer, and they probably had about 10 to 15 minutes with Tom Hanks and took some pictures with him. And he was just him and Rita were just so sweet with those little girls. And the little girls came back, and their faces are just glowing and smiling, and they got this big story to tell everybody at the table about how they got to meet the conductor from Polar Express. And so it was it was an awesome evening. It was awesome to just see that interaction, and knowing that he's genuinely that way all the time. It was awesome to see. But that's my Tom Hanks Polar Express story. But we almost had, so you kind of could say we did have dinner with Tom Hanks. He was just at a different table than us. But great guy. And he just a regular bloke. Of the opinion, if I see celebrities out and they're out as their role as the celebrity, then yes, I will go and talk to them. But if they're out on private time, shopping, having dinner or whatever, I would stay clear. It's their private time, and I don't want to intrude. But if you're at an event where they're appearing as themselves as the celebrity, then yes, I will go up and talk to them. It was like we were in a shop. We were in New Balance one time, and getting some new shoes, and in LA, and John Goodman walked in the door and was over there getting his New Balance shoes too. And my mother-in-law was like, "He looks familiar. Who is he?" And I go, "It's John Goodman." "What's he in?" So I had to frantically think of all the movies he had been in that she would have seen. And I did tell her, he's an actor. He's been in several movies. Ones that you have seen with us are these ones here. And she's like, "Don't remember those." I was like, "That's okay. Well, you need to know he's an actor." She says, "Well, go say hi." I says, "No." She's like, "Why not?" I said, "He's on his time as John Goodman, the private person buying shoes." I said, "Not going to bug him. If we were at an event where he was there as John Goodman, the actor, yeah, I'll go up and say hi. But he's on private time hands off. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Where are the shoes that you want? So it's been very interesting. It was very interesting going out with my mother-in-law at times when you'd see celebrities and things. It was a lot of fun. She never did get the theory that I had about bugging them and things like that as well. So, but anyway, I'm off to get my study finished, to get my assessment in. I've got to go figure out those last 2 questions. I've got 2 questions out of 12 that I've got left to answer, and I need to get them done and get that submitted. Then I can work on my discussion question. I've got 1 discussion question already in. The facilitator made a comment on it. I've replied back to his comment. And but now I've got to go and do discussion number 8, and they've actually split it by your birthday. So they've got 2 pieces that they want you to assess. But if your birthday is January through June, you assess this piece over here. And if your birthday is July through December, you assess this piece over here. I'm like, but I like the story on the other one better. That one was more interesting to read than this one was. So I've got to read through again the uninteresting one to try and figure out what do we have to do. We have to go through. We have to figure out pick one thing where they do not comply with one of the standards, and that's out of this little book here. And then we have to comment on one thing where they do comply with one of the standards out of this little book. This little book has been used heavily in this course. But it's really cool because tomorrow I start DNA. And I'm like, yes. So I really need to get this stuff in so I can get my grades back and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm out of here. If you've seen the Polar Express, what were your thoughts about it? Did it help you with your creativity and imagining? And that's how you imagine the North Pole. That's how you imagine you could do trips to the North Pole. Did it let your imagination run wild with you on things that you could, what ifs? What if Santa was real? And I know some people are going to go, but he is. Well, that's fine. Whatever you believe is fine with me. But you could always ask the question, if Santa was real, what would the North Pole actually look like? Or he is real and this is what the North Pole looks like. Whatever perspective you want is totally fine. It is your perspective, your thoughts. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Anyway, I'm out of here. So hopefully we'll get to watch Polar Express tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow night. Still looking for movies to add to my list of what I can watch with my Christmas list that I have. So please put your suggestions in the comments below. And you never know, I might end up talking about them one night because I'm going to go watch it. It'll also... I don't think I have any other Christmas movies. I know I have the Die Hard trilogy. So yeah, the second one will definitely probably get slipped in there somewhere between now and Christmas. But Christmas Eve is always the Christmas Candle. It is I love that story. It's about a priest who ends up at this little town where this is at the turn of the century when electricity is just starting to come in, and they're always using candles. And there's a candle maker in town, and every Christmas, there's a candle that is blessed by an angel comes down and blesses a particular candle, and that particular candle is given out to someone, and whatever their Christmas wish is will come true. And so he's sort of like, I'm a minister, reverend, whatever you want to call him, preacher, whatever, the leader of the church. And so he comes in and he decides they're not going to have candles. They're going to have electricity instead. So he's going to bring in electricity. And he's trying to debunk the theory of their Christmas candle thing. So it's a very, very good story about belief and faith, and just challenges your mind to think of what if that really is true and things like that. So it was actually very interesting what one couple's Christmas wish was, and how it came true for them. So, but really, really good. And it even has Susan Boyle in there, who won the Britain's Got Talent one year. And you get to hear her singing, and her voice is just magical. I love listening to her voice. And so you get to hear her singing a lot in this movie. And you hear her in the church with the acoustics on the church and stuff. It is just magical listening to her voice. You kind of just get transported. You get transported into another place and time with this movie. And I love watching it on Christmas Eve because it has a really good message to it. So Kathy said, watch Last Christmas. Okay, I'm going to put Last Christmas on my list. See if I can find somewhere to watch it or how to watch it and that sort of thing. But anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling evening. I'm off to decipher my last 2 questions. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening, and it is the second Tuesday, so we should have Nicole back tomorrow. I haven't heard from her yet, but one way or another, either I will be here by myself or Nicole will be joining me. We'll let you know tomorrow. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hei konera.